Well, it's Tuesday, August the 8th, and I finally started on my pegboard. And if you'll notice in that corner, I have about 11 inches, and then I have a 2x4, and then it's 16 inches all the way across, and it's about 11 inches on this side. I've made a lightweight frame out of this. I bought some 1x3s, 8 feet long, and I split them on my little table saw in half. And the 3/4 wide, and I put a full 8-foot one on the top and the bottom, and I offset this one to match that 2x4 over there in that corner, because when I put this on the wall, I will place the table in position, slide this beyond that last 2x4, and then slide it down into this groove. And then I will screw through the top and the bottom and all of these verticals into those 2x4s, through the beadboard, through the 3/4 inch pine, through the 1/2 inch pine, and into the stud, which will be a 2.5 inch screw, and that'll be in 3/4 of an inch. Right now I have just little 1/2 inch screws holding this on the frame. There's no angles on the corner. There's no through bolting here, because once I put a screw through there into the 2x4 in the wall and all that plywood, and one right there, it will pull this together and it will hold it. So that's that side, and that's that side. Now all I have to do is spin this around my workbench. I wired up the outlets and I put the covers on them, and this beadboard will end right there, and then it'll be 7.5 inches over to there with the next section. That way it'll leave me some pegboard. Hopefully I didn't say beadboard. Hopefully it'll leave me enough pegboard to do the sides, or to have some out here like near a saw or something that has tools. It's somewhere to put the wrenches and tools to change the blades and all. Well, I had those two pieces left, and I had this long piece that I cut off of the 4x8 sheet that's right there, and I have that piece to go. This is 31 inches and that's 24. So this, I'll make a frame for this and put it up here, and it'll come out here 24 inches on both sides. When you put this beadboard up, you want to try to get it level and square, and I'd mark the wall, and then I had to remark it after I plywooded it. But once I mount this to the wall, nothing can fall behind that. And nothing can fall behind that when I mount it to the wall. And I will divide these two and push this against this wall. So heavy I can't move it right now. And when I screw that in there with a lag screw into that 2x4 behind this plywood, and when I move that over, I can screw into that stud. And then I will put a spacer between these two boards and those two, and run a bolt through the top and the bottom and the front and the back, and then I'll make it a one-piece bench. Okay, when you cut this stuff and you end up right here, and you have to cut another piece sort of like that to go right there, you want to make sure you do the cuts on that end that'll be up against the wall, because you can put a piece of corner molding in that and you won't see it, and cut on the bottom if you want to put it like I did, laying on the frame, so that you have the finished cut at the factory across the top and down this side, and then when you pull these together, they're even rather than having holes in a different place. And the other thing you want to pay attention to is you want to cut these to where the holes line up. Like if I had that one upside down, the holes, instead of being here, might be in the middle. See, this way the holes are in the same place. Oh, now I made that's a factory cut at the top. It's just a shadow line right there. And I made the cut where it goes on this behind the plywood. That's about all it is. Now these are 2.5-inch screws all the way through that was a 1x3. It's not quite a 1x, it's about a 1x1.5, and those go all the way through that piece of wood, the plywood, and into a stud, and it will not go anywhere, and it will hold tools. Now I put smaller screws in here so I wouldn't go through all the plastic membrane where they're in the stud, because that's my stud and that's my stud. Because I started 8 feet from there. When I put the plywood up, I started 8 feet from there. So I knew I would end up here. See, that's a perfect 8. It's like 8 feet 11 inches to the corner. But anyway, my son bought that boom box in 1986. And we've been listening to that thing down here, working on we've rehabilitated almost every room down here in the cottage. And now we're listening to it in here. And I'll get back off here. Now all I have to do is paint that pegboard white. And see, I'm going to mount these other 2 sheets up here with a frame around it. Then I'll pull that bench away from there and just roll that with a roller. And I might prime it, and I've got enamel white paint to go on it that's washable. Because it will get dirty, although I don't really care about washing the pegboard if it gets dirty. I energized my shop light just to make sure it works. And one of the nice things about painting this white and the ends white is all this light off of these bulbs will reflect off that and back on your work source. Now I'm standing here at the bench and the eyes aren't in my face. Now I wear a baseball cap all the time. That is my trademark. Most people have never seen me without a hat on. And so it would block my eyes. And I have to get back to here where it's in my face. And if it bothered me, I could always put a piece of something hanging down here, even if it was cloth. Because I could staple something up here that's cloth and just let it hang down 1 inch or 2, and that would block it from being in your eyes. But most of the time you're sitting here working. Thanks for watching my channel. I gotta talk to my bride. She's calling on the phone.